Something subtle is happening at dinner tables across America. Not a loud protest, not a dramatic movement, something quieter, more human. People aren't necessarily giving up meat, but they're rethinking it. The steak is smaller, the salad is bigger, the word balance is finally outshining restriction. This isn't about going vegan or joining some wellness cult, it's about waking up to how food really makes us feel. They call it flexitarianism, and though it sounds trendy, it's not a fad. It's a shift, a cultural evolution born out of fatigue, awareness, and the desire to live lighter. Because if we're honest, most people don't want to be extreme. They don't want labels, guilt, or moral lectures every time they eat. They just want to feel better, to eat in a way that makes sense for their bodies and their values without feeling deprived. And that's what flexitarianism gives them. Freedom with intention. It's a way of eating that focuses on plants but doesn't demonize meat. It's about being mindful, not militant. And that's why it's spreading, not just through cities or fitness circles, but through families, schools, and homes that once saw meat as the center of every meal. The reasons people are switching are as diverse as America itself. For some, it's health, lower cholesterol, better digestion, more energy. For others, it's sustainability, realizing that small dietary shifts can have massive environmental impact. And for many, it's compassion, not necessarily giving up meat entirely, but cutting back in acknowledgement of the lives and resources involved in every meal. In a world where polarization dominates everything, politics, media, even food choices, flexitarianism is the middle path, the gray space where common sense and conscious living meet. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful, because it doesn't demand perfection, just awareness. It doesn't say, you must change everything. It simply whispers, try a little better, and that whisper is turning into a movement. One meal, one family, one choice at a time. To understand why more Americans are going flexitarian, you have to zoom out, beyond the grocery store aisles and restaurant menus. Look at the bigger picture, the state of our health, our food systems, and our planet. For decades, we've eaten like we were indestructible. Processed foods, oversized portions, factory-farmed meats, but now the consequences are showing. Heart disease, diabetes, chronic inflammation. Our bodies are quietly rebelling, and our planet is too. The average American eats over 200 pounds of meat a year. To produce that, we use millions of gallons of water, acres of land, and tons of grain that could feed others. But flexitarianism doesn't ask you to abandon your culture or your cravings. It just invites you to reimagine them. What if meat as a side became the new normal instead of meat as the main? What if your plate was 70% plants, 30% protein, not the other way around? That's not deprivation, that's evolution. Science backs this shift. Diets rich in whole plant foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, and grains are linked to lower risk of chronic disease and longer lifespans. Even modest reductions in red and processed meat can improve cardiovascular health. And then there's the environmental payoff. Less carbon, less waste, more biodiversity. It's not about saving the world overnight. It's about realizing that your dinner, something you do 3 times a day, is one of the most powerful votes you cast for the kind of world you want to live in. But here's the real magic. When people start eating more plants, they start feeling more alive. They sleep better, their mood stabilizes, their energy returns. It's as if the body sighs in relief. Finally, you're listening, and once you feel that difference, you can't unfeel it. Flexitarianism isn't a diet you go on, it's a rhythm you return to. A way of eating that honors both pleasure and purpose. Because food shouldn't just fill us, it should fuel us. It should remind us that health isn't about rules or rigidity, but about harmony between our body, our food, and the earth beneath it. The beauty of going flexitarian, you don't have to change overnight. You don't have to throw out your favorite meals or swear off meat forever. You start small. That's the whole point. Flexitarianism meets you where you are. It grows with you. Think of it like a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. Start with one meat-free day a week, maybe meatless Monday. Try new recipes that excite you. Lentil tacos, chickpea curry, quinoa bowls with roasted veggies. You'll be shocked by how satisfying plant-based meals can be when they're made with love and flavor, not fear. Stock your pantry with staples like beans, nuts, tofu, eggs, and whole grains, the kind of ingredients that can build hundreds of meals without boredom. If you eat out often, start noticing your options. Swap beef for grilled chicken, or try a plant-based burger once a week. Not because you should, but because you can. Explore, experiment, find joy in discovery. Because flexitarianism isn't about following a set of rules, it's about rewriting your own. And let's talk about protein, the question everyone asks. You'll get plenty from lentils, quinoa, edamame, eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, and even leafy greens. The real challenge isn't protein, it's perception. We've been taught to build meals around meat instead of balance, but the moment you flip that mindset, something clicks. You realize that you can eat better, feel lighter, and still enjoy the foods you love, just in smarter portions. Cooking becomes creative again. You start seeing your plate as a canvas, colors, textures, aromas. You start eating with curiosity instead of guilt. And when that happens, food transforms from stress to self-care. So if you're wondering how to begin, start by asking a simple question. What's one thing I can swap today that makes my meal just a little more mindful? That's how movements begin. Not in grand gestures, but in quiet, consistent choices that slowly reshape your life. Beyond health and sustainability, there's something deeper driving this shift, a hunger for connection. Because flexitarianism isn't just about food, it's about feeling part of something bigger. It's about realizing that what we eat ripples outward, into the soil, the sky, the oceans, the communities that grow our food. It's about remembering that we're not separate from nature. We are nature. When you eat more mindfully, you start to notice the stories behind your food, the hands that harvested your vegetables, the farmers who wake before dawn, the resources that make every meal possible. And that awareness turns eating into an act of gratitude, not just consumption. You begin to eat slower, savor more, waste less. You start to feel the weight and the wonder of what it means to nourish yourself in harmony with the world. And maybe that's the quiet gift of the flexitarian lifestyle. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about listening to your body and your conscience at the same time. It's about realizing that the simplest daily act, eating, can be a form of activism, empathy, and self-love. Because when you choose meals that respect both your body and the planet, you're not just eating, you're voting. You're voting for cleaner air, for less waste, for animals treated with care, and for a version of humanity that remembers its roots. So yes, more Americans are going flexitarian, not because it's trendy, but because it feels right. It's a movement of balance in a world of extremes, a return to sanity in a system built on excess. And if you listen closely, you can hear it in the clinking of forks, the sizzle of vegetables, the quiet laughter at family tables. A movement that doesn't shout but whispers, we can live well and do good at the same time, because in the end, food isn't just what keeps us alive, it's what reminds us how to live. If you found value in this video, leave a like, subscribe, and let's grow together. Nourish and rise.